Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and this is the market radar for Friday, May 16th. And I apologize for not getting one out yesterday. I was just getting a little burnt out. I've been putting a lot of hours on the show and stuff, so kind of took a break on that. And I want to get back onto it today. And actually, I should have mentioned something yesterday because it did start to show up, and it was this what we call a lane divergence in the markets, and a bearish lane divergence. So when we talk about that, let's jump right on that right now. That's the important warning sign that's in the market right now. If we look at what a lane divergence is like the pure stochastic signal that originally was developed for stochastics, and it's not just an overbought and oversold indication. It's more of a change of momentum before the price moves. So what happens is we start to recognize that because, just look at the relationship of the price and the momentum. And there's a slight divergence here. I want to show you a good one, a real nice one that we actually traded, the Etna. And this is a great example of how that divergence plays out. As the stochastic momentum here gets overbought and oversold, you want to see the price kind of trade in line with the stochastics. To pull back the momentum here, drifting back, you should see that selling pressure come in until you get oversold. And then it starts to move back up until it gets overbought. And sometimes you get choppy, but pretty much the directional trade is the direction of the stochastic, rotation while it's happening. So, when we start to see the price actually make new highs or higher highs, and yet the stochastics makes a lower high, that's the lane divergence that plays out. And that tells you that momentum has shifted before the price has shifted. It's a leading indicator. And it's a great indicator. I use it on individual stocks, and it's one of my favorite setups to play on individual stocks. We've traded this off of many stocks recently, and the Alchemy had a good one back here. The Discovery, and again, you have to be fast on these trades. Even Discovery here trading down lower. Before, when we did have that lane divergence, we get those pops on those. We had that also. We talked about the lane divergence on a couple different ones. Even the Lululemon here gave us a nice pop. We were able to trade into that. So these were all great little divergence plays we were able to trade into. Now we're seeing actually a lane divergence, a negative bearish divergence on the SPX, and that's pretty much gave us a big smackdown today. Now there was some words out here. One of these hedge fund guys, Tepper, put some fear in the market last night as the SALT conference continues on, and he made some, just kind of cautious comments about the overall markets. Not saying anything too drastic, but pretty much laying it out there. He said, "I wouldn't, I'm not telling you to be short. I'm not telling you to be long, but I wouldn't be I wouldn't be too long." And you can read the undertones of his little comments there, and I think that in part led to some pressure in the market this morning. So we saw a fast sell-off this morning, and this actually, you can see the recent high, here on the stochastics, and and you could let's try to put a line in here just to kind of represent that right there, and you can see we got a little. Well, we can push it up a little bit further here, just looking at that high and that lower high here, and it's a hard one to. We both got into overbought levels, but the fact is we made a little lower high in this, and maybe that's the end of it. Maybe this is the biggest pullback we're going to get. But this is definitely a concerning indicator. Also, that we just kind of took out the recent highs, and I'm always a big I'm going to say a fan of, but not a fan of. A believer that the market tends to take out the highs and then kind of pull back after that. So this was kind of. Nothing that was extremely bearish at this point, but the selling today was pretty intense at one point, and then we started kind of stabilizing. And once we started stabilizing, we went to that 60-minute time frame and actually did quite well. We did have a little flush this morning. It did flush through there. I did try to take a trade off of this trend line, and it just got flushed right through it. Once we got down into a time frame down here a little after 11 o'clock, we started seeing some pretty decent rotation and some pivot areas and trends starting to develop. We were able to actually take a few of these trades using the tradeometer, and I was very excited about that because they played out pretty excellent, And I'm looking to do a lot more of that tomorrow. Even though tomorrow's Friday, I'll be trading in the room with you guys But look for that. Look for that. You can see that some of the indicators. Of course, we had that flush here, and again, this is where I took my trade and went flushed right down, and then we ended up taking. I think I took a trade off at this level too. There was an indication here. I didn't take it just because of the amount of selling that was in the market. Then we got down here, and I ended up taking this, and it actually worked out good. And we came back down here right around 12 o'clock, and right off of this level, we ended up taking this trade too, and actually bounced up nice. And then this was an overbought level here, and that was a classic one because it pushed right back up to that point of control line, which has been such a good one, the orange line here, and that pulled back until we got oversold. Oversold led to an overbought. Overbought led to an didn't get any other. We got overbought here. We took this trade. We got a nice little profit on that on the pullback, and then it moved back up. And then at this point, we started getting choppy around 3 o'clock and decided to kind of sit out of the mark. We also took a scalp in Disney, which worked out great, and that's overall not a bad day. I was a little disappointed on this trade. I should have kept the stop a little tighter on this. I'll let it play through that. It did bounce originally and then kind of fell off. But, other than that, I think it was very good to see how, that early morning selling pressure came in. It kind of flushes things out. And once you start to establish a bigger range and start to put together a 1, 2, 3 pattern, start to look at the profile lines, start to look at some of the trend lines, and really start to trade off of these levels. Now you could do this with the ES, you could do this with the ETFs. I prefer to use some of the ETFs than the ES futures. So today we used the TNA. I shorted in, I went long at TNA. Even though you have the pro short and the bullish ETFs, I tend to like the TNA as a short just as well. So you could short the TNA as well as go long it. And that works out good. So look for more of that tomorrow. Just to kind of remind you, this lane divergence is, if this qualifies as that higher high and a lower high on the stochastic, that could lead to some serious downside. So I'm kind of cautious on that. I'm kind of cautious on this. You can see we actually dropped back down, and we came down to the 50 and the 20, all the way down to the 200. Not to say we're going to do that. I mean, the 200's way down here. We have an upper trend line here that's coming underneath the price, and that's crossing around that 1850 level. It's only 20 points down just to get to that upper trend line. The 50-period moving average right underneath us. We didn't get down to it's right around 1860. And, of course, the 200-period moving average and some other trend lines. This would be a key one down here from this pivot area. I'd be watching also. So there's a lot of downside potential. The crossover's there. The one positive we have, if you want to even call it a positive, that 60 minutes oversold. We haven't started turning back up yet. But you could see that when we do get oversold on this, I'm trying to let me just go back on that 60-minute here. We got overbought, oversold, overbought. Here we came down, we bounced back up, got overbought, pulled back. Now we're kind of embedded. This is the 60-minute chart you're looking at. So we do have that 60-minute turning back up. So there is a good shot that we get a follow-through bounce. The important thing about putting a top in the market is, noticing, yeah, that move will happen, but it's the reactionary move back up to see if it actually regains certain levels, or does it fail at a certain point and cross back over and really start to confirm a downward bias in this market. This is really the first big down day we've seen in a while. I mean, we did have one a couple last week, but that was a very fast reversal. And yesterday was a little drag down, but today was definitely a day to see. But it bounced at the end of the day. So going into tomorrow, the lane divergence hangs over this market. The 60-minute chart here tells us we expect a little bounce. It's a Friday. There's a lot of news crossing the wire right now. A lot of hedge funds taking positions. I see Verizon here popping on Berkshire Hathaway's $500 million investment on Verizon. We got Carl Icahn making some comments. We got all kinds of hedge funds, coming out with their statements and their filings, and well, it might actually make some of these stocks here move tomorrow. Google got a couple people, increasing their stake in it. So that's what we have for tomorrow. I would say that this divergence is a concern. The 60-minute on the downs, I have to make a call here. I would say cautious call. I want to kind of like I want to step outside and not make the call for tomorrow, being a Friday, and I'll be very much concentrate on the 60-minute time frame. So, but with the divergence like that, I want to call for some downside. But the 60-minute time frame, well, we're overdue for that bounce. So, again, it's kind of cross signals. And it's not a high probability downside shot, and it's not a high probability upside shot. So it's kind of a neutral shot right now. All right, so that's it. Tune in tomorrow. RPM will be on the mic tomorrow, but I'll be in the room trading alongside of everyone, and I'm looking forward to that. So look forward to that, and I'll see everyone in the morning.